So, I've been wondering about something that's been bugging me for weeks now. You know how we use apps like Instagram, Spotify, Uber every day? Well, I started looking into their finances and here's what blew my mind. Most of those companies have been losing money for years now. Like Uber lost over $8 billion in 2019 alone, but somehow they're still considered as a successful company and they are still worth tens of billions of dollars. I'm not a business expert or anything, but this just didn't make sense to me. How do you lose tens of billions of dollars but still be considered as a successful company? So I started learning more about this stuff. I started learning how actually startups make money, how actually startups generate revenue. And what I discovered completely changed how I think about business. I'm gonna share everything I learned with you guys today because honestly, I wish somebody explained this to me earlier. So in this video, we're going to be talking about 5 revenue models that startups use to generate some revenue, give you real life examples, and also try to understand why losing money might actually be part of the plan. So let's get to the video. Okay, the first startup revenue model that we are going to be talking about is going to be a freemium model. Freemium model is actually one of the most popular startup revenue models out there, and it's pretty simple. You basically give away the basic version, the core version of your product for free, and then you charge for extras. And that's how you get paid. That's how you generate some revenue. An example for this one? An example for this one is going to be Duolingo. I have been using Duolingo for myself to improve my Italian language skills, and I don't pay anything for it. It's completely free. But here's what I didn't realize. I am actually a part of their business strategy. They let me and millions of other subscribers, millions of other users to use their product completely for free. But if you want to get access to the premium version of the product, if you want to get access to the premium features, you have to pay at least $13 for that. And that's how they make some revenue. And with premium features, I mean like no ads, unlimited hours, and things like that. When I look up their numbers, when I try to see how many customers they have and how much money do they generate in a year, I saw that they have more than 500 million subscribers, and only 4% of them are premium users. That might sound a little bit of a number, that might sound a tiny amount of number, but when you actually try to calculate it, 4% of 500 million is 20 million. That means they have 20 million active premium subscribers and they pay $13 a month, at least $13 a month to use the premium version of their app. And that is $260 million in a year. 260 million revenue in a year. That is a pretty big number and that is a big accomplishment. The crazy part is, I always wondered how they could afford to give all these features to all these people, but now I understand it. It's actually part of their strategy. They are giving access to all of these people to attract some customers, and if the slightest percentage of them get the premium version of their app, they win. It's a numbers game, and you need a massive skill to make it work. And Duolingo is doing a really great job at that. And that's why they're so successful. The second model I discovered is marketplace model. And this is actually getting more popular now with the companies like Airbnb. And in this model, startups act as middlemen and they take a cut from the transactions that is being made. Let's give it an example for this model. An example for this model is Airbnb. Simply Airbnb. Airbnb does not own any properties. But the thing is, instead, they connect travelers with the hosts and they make some money from every transaction between a traveler and the host. They take like 14% from the people who rent those apartments and they take 3% from the hosts. And that's why they can make a lot of money. Let's say you book an apartment via Airbnb and that's $200 a night. You pay $200 a night for that apartment. And in that case, Airbnb gets like $20, $30 a night from that transaction. And that is actually pretty good money. And also, the difficult part about this model is that there's a difficult side of this model. You need hosts to get those customers, to get those travelers, and you need travelers to get those hosts. So this is the most difficult part of this job, and Airbnb is actually doing a really great job at that, and that's why they are so successful. That's why they can be so successful. And here's a fun fact that I learned recently. Apparently, Airbnb's founders went door to door in New York and they took pictures of those apartments and they tried to convince the owners of the apartments to just list their apartments in Airbnb's website. And that is some serious hustle. And that's why Airbnb is one of the best companies in the world right now. And they are doing a pretty good job and they are improving every day. So this was the marketplace model, and next we are going to be talking about subscription model. And our third model is subscription model, and this is where users pay monthly or yearly to use their products. Think of like Figma, Canva, or apps like that, or Notion. You subscribe to their service, and in order to use their service you have to pay an amount monthly or yearly. An example I'm going to give for this one is going to be Slack is a simple texting platform, and I was wondering how a simple texting app could be worth tens of billions of dollars. But here's what I didn't get. The thing with this model is companies do not just only pay once to Slack, they pay yearly or monthly. This is a subscription kind of business, so they have to pay monthly or yearly. And when the companies grow, when they have more employees, they have to pay Slack even more in that case. And that's how Slack makes its profits. That's how Slack makes some revenue. And this is why investors love subscription based businesses so much, because it's a predictable income that grows over time. This is basically a recurring revenue. But the thing with this model is that, and this is what I didn't take into account, these companies often lose money for years while acquiring customers. They might spend like $500 to acquire a new customer, and then that customer pays you only $50 a month, and that's when you need 1 year to break even for that customer. And this is the hard part of subscription based businesses, but for the long run it's a great business model, and so many companies use subscription based businesses in these days. Now it is time for the fourth model, and that is the advertising model. In this model, startups build massive audiences and sell access to that audience, sell access to that attention. A good example for this is going to be Instagram. Before Facebook acquired Instagram, before Facebook got Instagram for $1 billion, Instagram had zero revenue. Yeah, zero. You've heard it right. Zero revenue. But they had 100 million users who were obsessed with the app. I couldn't wrap my head around this whole thing at first. How is a company that doesn't make any revenue could be worth $1 billion? Then it clicked. They weren't just selling a product, they were selling attention. Those 100 million users represented millions of eyeballs that advertisers would pay to reach. Even though Instagram wasn't running any ads, Facebook could see the potential, and that's why they acquired Instagram for $1 billion. But here's the scary part. There is a part that is difficult about this thing, and that is you need millions of users to make that work, and you need to make a really good product that can make millions of users every day, all while making zero money. It's like building a massive audience, but you don't know if you get that audience how you'll monetize them. And this is the scary part about this business model. And our last model is going to be the transaction model. This model is all about facilitating a transaction between two parties and taking a cut from those transactions. The startup acts as an intermediary in this model, and the startup takes a transaction fee from all the transaction that is being made. An example for this one would be Stripe. Stripe is actually a really great example for this one. Every time someone buys something and pay with their credit card, Stripe gets some transaction fee, like 2.9% plus 30 cents from every transaction that is being made. And it might not sound like much, but when you actually try to calculate it, in 2022 alone, Stripe processed over $640 billion worth of money. And when you calculate it, it means $12 billion in revenue in 2022 alone. And that is a really big amount of money. And what's smart about this model is that your success, the company's success, is directly tied to the customer's success. If the customer is more successful, if the customer make more transaction, that means you get a lot of money. That means you make a lot of money. You get more successful. But I also learned about this model that it requires massive skill and dealing with regulations, especially in finance. You are competing on razor thin margins, and those razor thin margins could actually break or make a business. So, this is the hard part, the difficult part of this business model. Here's the part that really confused me at first. Why would successful companies intentionally lose money for years? The more I researched, the more I realized that this is actually more about timing and market dynamics. Because in those fields, in many industries, there is only room for one or two big companies. Like, think about it. We all use Google for searching, we all use Amazon for shopping, or we all use Instagram for social media. And you guys don't even know the second and third companies in those industries because it's like a winner take all situation in those industries. There's only one big company or two big companies, and you don't know anything about other companies. And that's why there's a winner take all situation there, and that is why their their main goal is not to make money right away. Their main goal is to make money in the long future. They are thinking long term and they are trying to make money in the future. And that's why at first they are trying to capture as much space in that industry as they can, and they are trying to acquire as much customers as they can. I can give you guys some examples for this one. Let's just talk about Amazon. Amazon is the perfect example. They could have been profitable much earlier, but Jeff Bezos chose to reinvest everything into growth, warehouses, and new products. Uber did something similar. They subsidized rides to make them cheaper than taxis, losing money on every trip, but gaining customers faster than competitors. Once they dominated the market, they could gradually raise the prices, and only that's when, they could make some profit. This strategy only works if you can eventually make money from all those customers that you acquired. I've learned that in the startups, it's actually not that easy to do. And in the startup field, there are lots of companies that has millions of subscribers, millions of users, but they cannot monetize them. They cannot make any money off of them. So if you cannot do that, you are not going to be successful in those fields. That's why you also have to be able to monetize those customers, and you have to be able to get some money out of those customers. So this is it for today, guys. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe. I'm learning this stuff in real time and sharing what I figure out along the way. If you guys have any questions, comment them down below. And also, If there's like a topic that you guys want me to talk about, if there's like a topic that you guys want me to do some research on and share with you guys also comment down below as well. So see you in the next video. Goodbye.